Oh, that was good.
먹어봐.
아픈 거 맞아?
Out of the pesto itself, it's already in there.
already-
This peppermint. Okay.
Thank you.
You're welcome.
Yeah.
It's actually pretty good. Very healthy tasting. It looks really funny because I'm wearing it over my sweater.
No, you look freaking cute, man. So pretty.
Okay, are you gonna help me?
Yes, I am your sous chef slash assistant
What?
slash slave.
No, I don't want you to be my slave because slaves help out without getting compensated.
You're gonna compensate me?
Yeah,
With what?
with nothing. Alright, so okay, you guys, I'll be making soy sauce pickling. Soy sauce pickle? Pickle soy sauce?
How do you say it in Korean?
간장 장아찌? 장아찌. We call it 장아찌 in Korean. It's like pickling using soy sauce, okay? I use many different types of soy sauce, but today I'll be using the kikoman. Guys, when you buy soy sauce, please look at the ingredients, okay? There's soy sauce out there, it's not that clean. This, they just have water, soybean, wheat, and salt, okay? This is a soy sauce that I use. It's Japanese brand. Water, soybean, wheat, salt, alcohol to preserve freshness and preserve it. So, you know, it's all different, but this is what I like to use on daily basis, but this is what I'll be using for pickling today. We also need some vinegar, some sugar. I'm gonna be using some regular sugar and turbinado, and I'll be using some sort of soju. Now this is very optional. I'm gonna use a very little bit. You could use vodka. This is a very light vodka drink for Koreans. But you know what I mean? Like, you know, vodka doesn't have any flavor. It's just pure alcohol flavor. So that's what you need. You can't use like rum or like, I guess you could use tequila. But anyway, you could use a little bit of any sort of, you know, alcohol, okay? We'll be using a little bit of yandu. You don't have to, but yandu, I just got this from Amazon. Today we'll be pickling this fruit here. It's called chayote. Chayote.
What is it?
In Korean, it's called chayote. It's from Costa Rica. What?
Chayote.
It's considered a squash.
Okay, it's considered a squash.
In Mexico, they use it a lot in Mexico.
So I'm going to be pickling onion as well. Jalapeno, chayote, and onion will be pickled together in a jar. Spinach, guys. Listen, I found these Korean spinach. For some reason, Korean spinach, I feel like they leave the roots behind and you could see the roots part of it, I guess. You have to mix the liquid and you have to boil it. And then once it becomes room temperature, then you pour it into your vegetables, okay? So
Do you boil it like because it deepens the flavor, or why do you boil it?
I have no idea. Whatever. 2 cups of soy sauce. 2 cups of water. Everything is all equal parts. This is vinegar. It's actually good. Try it.
Try it. It's good.
You could totally stop here if that's all you have, but because I'm gonna make it more flavorful and make sure that they don't go raw, I'm gonna put a little bit of soju, which is like the Korean vodka, you know, flavorless alcohol, drinkable. It's very little bit. And then a little bit of yandu. I'll bring up the umami like crazy. Ooh, this is good, right? Make sure you get all the sugar.
I mixed it.
We're just gonna boil this and then make sure it's room temperature when you pour it in.
That looks good.
Look how much spinach I have, Hungy. Korean spinach. Look at how like. So what you're gonna do here, basically, you're just gonna cut the ends off very little, and you're gonna leave the pink part, and we're gonna split it into half like this, like that. So they kind of stay together. So you do that for every single one of them.
Well, the pink color will look really nice.
No, you can't really see it because it's inside the soy sauce.
But when you take it out, the pink color goes away too.
Yeah, mine. But look how much sand there is still.
I don't think we've ever prepped together.
That's true.
Actually, we don't really cook that often either together. It's always like either I cook the whole dinner or you cook the whole dinner, no?
You think?
Yeah.
So I have steaming water here. I'm going to blanch the spinach. I'm gonna take them out. The whole goal is to wilt the spinach so they're kind of like lifeless, like that. Ready? And then you just slice it like this. Like this.
When I eat those at a restaurant,
Yeah.
it's so juicy, and I can see why now.
Right?
Yeah. I never saw it raw like that.
Thinner actually, right? Because they're spicy sometimes. You don't. If they're too thick, it's kind of like hard to eat them, right?
Yeah, sometimes
So-
it's really spicy.
Yeah. If you want them really spicy, you could put the seeds into the brine. But if you don't want them spicy, just get the seeds out. And then onion. Oh, you cut them so nice.
Interesting.
Okay.
Watch your hands.
So, kind of like, do you think this is too thin, too small? What do you think? Like too small of a slice?
I think this would be like perfect size.
Right? Yeah,
This is
too
perfect size.
thin. 3 like that. Right?
Yeah, that's perfect.
Like that's a perfect size, bite size. These are all the ingredients. That's all the ingredients.
That's a lot.
I know. So what we're gonna do is make sure we don't touch. So this is a clean bottle that I got. You could use any jar. A little bit of chayote in there. Put some onion. Chayote. And jalapeno peppers. Onions. I love these onions. These are white sweet onions, Hangi. So You know, as they brine, they're gonna make more like sweet
Flavor to the soy sauce, right?
sauce.
So with the peppers. Later would have been cleaner.
It's too late now. So with spinach, what you're gonna do is you're gonna blanch and drain a little bit, and then you're gonna squeeze out the excess water like a little bit, so like very little bit. If you leave it, and then you just have to fill it up. Same sauce.
Oh, nice! I think it's perfect.
Yeah, later. 이 정도 먹을 수 있을까? So these are glass weight for pickling, so they don't, because they can't be really exposed to air, and you know when they're exposed, that's when you get fungus. And well, I put soju in there, should be okay, but they get mold and stuff like that. So let's put that in there, and also on the top, spinach. Wow, this looks so good. Look at that.
Is that vegan?
The basil drink that has that little like frog eggs.
You see, he's kind of freaking out. It's like aloe. It's not even crunchy. It's just soft. It's like jello.
너무 맛있다.
무라면. There will be so much expired cup ramen. Oh, extra big size today. You happy?
Wow. Starbucks did it again.
Want me some more?
No.
Why?
I cannot.
Why? Free.
That's why it tastes good, because 30 free, 30.
30.
I think that's one thing actually I still get embarrassed when I snore.
She has your sweater.
If I get really tired and I snore and you tell me that I snored, and I kind of get pissed off at the same time, I get I get embarrassed.
Why?
But I get pissed off
Why?
because I feel like you're lying to me, like just to make me mad.
I'm not. You did snore. You even said that you heard yourself snore.
That's what I'm saying.
야국을 사지. Hurry, man, pour! I want my share.
Your share here is gone.
Oh my gosh, I can't reach that. I have T-Rex arms. Oh.
This 30 is mine!
Oh, yay.
Just take it. Just take it. I don't care. No, you take it.
No, hold it.
Stop! Okay, if you think about it, right? Do you think the world is fair or do you think it's unfair? You know what people say, if you work hard, I deserve this. You know, people say that, right?
Okay.
Do you think it's fair? I think whatever you do, it's not fair. Well, this world is not fair. This is like the moment that you're born, the world is not fair. That's what I think. What do you think?
No, I don't think it's fair at all.
Because first, you don't...
Like, look at this
Is
person.
this lady crazy? First, you don't choose where you're born, who you're born as, right? That's kind of not fair, first of all, right? And then if you think about it, even job per se, like, you know, people like Justin Bieber and amazing
Adele.
voice, Adele.
Ed Sheeran.
Who?
Ed Sheeran.
I don't even know who that is. Those people, they were born with that voice.
Yeah.
Like Mariah Carey, she was born with that voice, right?
Yeah.
It's not like she tried so hard to get that voice. She was born with it.
Yeah.
And then people discovered her.
Yeah.
And then she makes millions of dollars. I'm sure she works hard, but she has people helping her to make $1 million too. Some people are just born with the desire to work, make money. You know what I mean? They had that drive. They were born with it. Some people are not. Some people are just born physically sick, or they don't have the desire. They're born with depression.
Yeah, life's not fair. I don't think life's fair at all. Imagine the people during World War One, World War Two.
Yeah.
Like millions of young men died. They weren't even 20, and they died in war.
Yeah, that's true.
They didn't even get to live past 20 years.
Like, I watch a lot of stories how, you know, North Koreans escaped. One girl, she escaped because she saw two of her sisters dying of hunger. They had to hide in the woods for like almost a year. And then she got sold to China. She had a choice though in China. She said, one, as a sex slave, another thing, to become a wife to a man who's like handicapped, right? So she chose to be married instead. And she was married to this old guy that was really handicapped. If he had caught in China as a North Korean escape person, does that make sense? Because you don't have a visa in China if you escape from North Korea, right? So if you get caught, you get sent back to North Korea. And when you get sent back to North Korea, that's like, they kill you, you know, pretty much. So you can't get caught. So if you're sold as a sex slave, they don't look for you. Or if you're somebody else's wife, they don't look for you either, you know? And they don't even get a visa if you are married to somebody in China. Did you know that? You know how, like, you know, United States, if you're married, they give you a visa. In China, they don't do that. So you have to kind of like live like hidden, hoping that you don't get caught, right? So anyway, so she was married. She had a kid with this guy, like this like handicapped guy, right? But he was nice, she said, but he was old and handicapped, right? And she was in her like early 20s. And then she said, okay, now I have a kid, I'm going to live my life here happy. So when she started to do that, somebody ratted her out saying that, hey, I think that guy's living with somebody from North Korea. So people from North Korea came and got her. And then she got sent back to Korea without her kid. And her kid was only like 5 months old. And then she got sent back to Korea. So she's
North Korea?
North Korea, yeah. And then so she was in jail, beaten, and like the jail cell is not tall enough for you to stand up straight. There's like so many people in there. There's like, she said, there rats, and they don't give you food. There's no bathroom. You need to go to the bathroom and they don't let you go. Then you just go there, and then you see somebody else's like poop and pee in the room. It's just like, it's gross, right? And it's cold in winter and it's hot in the summer. And then so she stays there, right? For 6 years or something like that. Later, they let her out, right?
She survived in prison for 6 years?
Yeah, 6 years. The day that she gets out, she tried to escape again to China, then she gets caught again. So she gets sent back to the prison, right? This time, she knows for sure they're gonna kill her, basically, right? So she gets sent to this office where they kind of like question her again. But then she said this is when the miracle happened to her, because the guy that was questioning her, he had a crush on her when they were little. The question guy, right?
Yeah.
So he said, okay, you got caught here twice again. You're gonna die here, so I'm gonna help you escape. So he helped her, and then she went back to China, right? And then when she went back to China, her kid was 6 years old already, and then at that point, her kid doesn't even recognize the mom, right? So she's crying, she's like, and then whatever, and then her husband says to her, if you stay here, you're gonna die. You're gonna get caught again, you're gonna die. So I'm gonna send you to South Korea, right?
Okay.
So he's like, I'm gonna help you. So China, you can't come to South Korea directly from China, but a lot of people go through Vietnam to come, because I think from Vietnam to Korea, it's a lot easier to come.
You can't go to China. Wait, you can't go to South Korea from China?
No, like you have
There's
to have
no
a visa. But I heard that if you go through like Taiwanese or some other country from China, it's a lot easier. I can't remember what country it was. So he sends her. So the whole family is like, when she goes to Korea, she's gonna forget about you. You know, you can't send her. But then the old man that she was married to, he said, she's my wife and she has my child. I want my child's mother to live. You know, I don't care where she lives, I want her to live. When she gets caught again and go back to North Korea, she's gonna die, right? He buys a ticket for her to escape to South Korea, right?
Yeah.
So in order for her to go to South Korea, he has to get her to another country, right? With the visa. So he's like, what should we do? How is she gonna get there? So he goes, okay, you look really young, so just act like you are my niece, right? So she's like, wear a pigtail and stuff like that, and then she goes in the train, and then she finally gets to Korea, right, without her daughter. And then when she came to South Korea, she got rescued. She told them like, hey, I'm from North Korea. In South Korea, they have a program. If you escape from North Korea, they accept you and they give you like housing and they help you in South Korea, right? So she gets help. Or like a year later, she keeps on trying to get in contact with her husband, and she can't get in contact with them. She can't go to China, and they're not picking up the phone, right? So she's like, somehow she like found a friend or something like that could help her. So she found out that the mother-in-law or her old husband's mother is trying to avoid her, right? So she's saying, send my daughter here. I want my daughter here. I want to see her. And at that time, her daughter's like 8 years old, right? And then she said, no, we want to keep her here. Like, and she's like, no, let me speak to my husband. He's like, he's not around. He's not around. They kept on saying that. So she kept on crying, saying, please, please, I want to see my daughter. After he sent her to Korea, he died. But he was sick. He was old and he was handicapped. He was sick, so he knew he was dying. So that's why he sent her, right? And then the mother-in-law said, she's the only one that we have that's linked to my son, so please let me keep her. And then she said, it's not fair. She's my daughter. I want her back with me in Korea, right? So the mother-in-law and the father-in-law agrees, and they send their grandkid to the mom, right? So she comes to Korea, she gets a job, and she does YouTube, and she tells all these stories in YouTube, and she makes good money now. She has a house, and you know, everything, and she raises her daughter in Korea, and then she met a new guy, and then she has another kid now. She still has contact with her mother-in-law, father-in-law in China, right? And then she sends them money and stuff, because she found out the whole time she was in North Korea, she found out that her husband was sending money to North Korea for her parents. You know what I'm saying?
How?
They have a broker in North Korea that they could do stuff like that. So they were sending him money so they could survive. Because if one of your family member gets caught trying to leave North Korea, the whole family is like X'd out and they can't make any money. They're like starving. So basically, she said, you know, I went through so much to escape, but my ex-husband, her past ex-husband, the old handicapped man, basically rescued me and gave me freedom. And she was crying about that. She has a YouTube channel. She talks about this. She has a lot of friends who escaped from North Korea, and she invites them to her channel, and then she talks about like what they went through and how they went through and the life situation in Korea. Like when I hear that, I say, oh my gosh, life is so unfair. I get mad sometimes when I hear stuff like this.
She has a YouTube channel?
She has a YouTube
She only
channel.
speaks Korean?
She only spees Korean.
She doesn't speak, there's no subtitles for your
No.
viewers to watch or something?
No, she doesn't. But when I hear stuff like that, I get so angry. Like, I really get so angry because I feel like life is just not fair. I mean, just take a look at my life and your life. Sometimes I look at it and I don't think it's fair.
But I'm glad that you watch stuff like that, because when you watch stuff like that, you appreciate life more.
Being born in the United States.
Imagine if we were born in like
I know.
You know, some other countries, third world countries, and they're like starving. People are starving out there.